Hey there everybody and welcome back to Isla Napali and welcome back to the 19th episode of this project. So it's time to wrap up a few things and to talk about a few things. And I had the feeling that in the past couple of weeks we lost a little bit of drive, and so I just wanted to get the drive back. So please stick with me, because in a second I'll give you a little task that is combined again with a little lottery of a giveaway of a random game key, and also is combined with the fame of maybe being chosen for the next, name patron, so to say, for the next ride, if your idea will be taken. Or the restaurant or whatever. So here's the thing, as you are the company and I am your CEO, you put me in place, I have to deliver. And since we are about to finish off the entry area of this park, and also we are going to finish off the coaster area around there and the octopus ride and stuff, we need to move on into the next area. That said, we are still having the whole story going on that this park kind of developed over time, so essentially we are not moving on to the next area. We would basically go into one of the earliest areas of the park, so one of the very, very early on installments of the park. And so here are my three options I am giving you guys as the company, as my shareholders, to approve, and depending on what you guys say, this will be the next one. So option number one will be a Hawaiian styled restaurant area, which is a really nice installment located right next to the octopus ride and this coaster, which incorporates a nice little terrace area on the beach side, and also has a nice entry area which is really Hawaiian, let's say Kauai styled, with a lot of nature and stuff, a little bit jungle-ish, kind of made right next to our Big Dipper coaster and the octopus ride, which then again would also fulfill the needs of a first bigger food area, which we don't have in the park right now, as earliest installment, and basing on the idea that this was one of the very early on installments of the park, it could be very well be that this was just a pure nature park at the beginning. Some of you guys have suggested this already in one of the earliest episodes of this project in general, and I found this idea to be very interesting and maybe something we could go on with. And so that could be the first thing, and I would calculate the costs by approximately $2 to $3 million, because it won't be that expensive, but it still would need a lot of money to be a really good restaurant that could also deal with the capacity we would have in the park nowadays. So it is already kind of modernized. The second option is a classic flat ride, Honolulu style, so a little bit going into the hula dance. This would be something really going around itself, so it could be like a cup ride, or could also be like a classic twister, that then will be really styled in a flowerish mood to this really well-known, even going into like prejudices about Hawaii in general, a really nice approach on doing something, playing with these kind of ideas you have in mind of Hawaii if you haven't been there. So I have to say it changed kind of when I was there. The costs about this thing I would kind of calculate with about $5 to $7 million. Hence a ride is a lot more expensive than only a restaurant, and also we need a little bit for theming, which is not that big of a sum because it still is pretty cheap and pretty old, and I'm talking about the value of the money back in the 60s, 70s, 80s when the park was founded, where the money, was still a little bit more worth than it is today. I am not sure if these values are kind of realistic, so don't hesitate to rip me apart in the comments if I'm completely wrong, and please do suggest a budget that is way more accurate to what I just, mentioned over here. And now the third option is a kiddie ride, which is not further defined. It could be like a track ride. It could also be a kiddie coaster, a very small kiddie coaster, like really talking about like 6-7 turns and then back into the station, like a very gentle, very simple thing that may well be just in the middle of a pathway, or maybe just about a little pond, over a little pond or something like that. So nothing fancy, nothing awfully, crazy or whatsoever. So just something very slightly fitting into the theme, and it wouldn't really be about hula in this case. It would be very much just about a little bit of a Hawaiian hang loose idea about this one. Maybe even going into a turtle style thing, but I think that since we had this already in Kuali Beach, that would potentially be a little bit too close. So I would highly suggest this to keep it as a kind of hang loose idea. And I would calculate this with about 10 millions. Hence this would, be a lot more expensive than the other two suggestions beforehand. Because, a coaster is even more expensive than a flat ride. Well, not necessarily, but the one I'm talking about would be. But yeah, as I said, I could be completely wrong about that. And yeah. So yeah, what's your task? Your task is basically to tell me which is the option you would favor and which is the one you would go for. Explain why. Give me an idea what this could be called, and if, as I said, my calculation is way too bad, just tell me what you would suggest, how much money this would cost, and yeah, that would really help me to go on in the park. And I would dedicate the next commentary and the next episode towards the one who gave me the best answer to this question, and I would highlight this comment obviously and going into detail how I'm going to do this, and basically kind of make a little bit of a pitch presentation about this project then, or actually the pitch is now, and it would be more like a plan I would give you, and maybe I'm even going to do a scribble depending on how much time I have, so potentially without a scribble. And yeah, that's kind of something I can offer you. And as I said, out of all the comments, I am going to give away three just random game keys. Basically, the one who is going to win, it's not a competition, but who's going to give me the best comment is automatically getting one of those 3 keys, and then 2 other people randomly picked will also get a random game key. As always, the reminder, these keys are not like a high value AAA game, these are just like a random key I can get somewhere, and I'm going to give you. So it sometimes these are just fun games, sometimes they're even crappy, but anyways, it's just fun, I think it's always kind of nice to have something going on like that. So here I am offering you this choice. Then there is another topic I need to talk about to you, and this is I have reached out again, or basically I got some answers from Silphcorp, which is the company we hired to have another installment of a coaster in this park. And Silphcorp was very busy for the last couple of months and weeks actually, because he was also hired by Parkitect Corp, so he was busy doing stuff like that in the past. So he finally reached out to me and said that he is about to start planning what he's doing for Isla Napali, and yeah, I just wanted to give you those good news, but the date of delivery is not even defined yet, so please don't be too kind of pushy regarding this, because he's also trying to do it as best as he can in his profiles. But we've been starting about to talk about what this will be like, and he obviously took all of your suggestions into account. As always, make sure to jump into the Discord and also give me some infos about this, because that helps a lot to make this project even better and to make this all a lot more realistic than it hopefully already is. Yeah, that said, there are a few more things to talk about now before we are slowly going to the end of this episode. There is one major thing I need to talk about to you, which is maybe this is just an info which is for the kind of core base of this channel, and I would like to take the opportunity to talk to you guys, like you sitting in front of your monitor watching each and every episode of this project. want to say thank you, because you guys are amazing. You keep this whole thing running, and I'm just a very, very tiny light in the ocean of creative videos on YouTube, but you guys are always like so supportive and so positive, and I felt like you guys deserve a little info about what's going on in my life, and that's a very positive thing. I mean, I've talked about that so often already, and I've talked about my kind of misery that in our flat we have some issues with, like, I can't do commentaries in the night or when my wife is asleep, because this is basically like a paper house over here, where you can actually hear like everything, and I would definitely make her get awake. So here I am talking about one very good change, and this is we finally found a new flat. This will also mean that the next couple of months will be pretty stressful, which is nothing new for me, because actually those last years with uni and stuff have always been pretty stressful, and then I got married this year, and all these kind of things just got in the way of being lazy and doing nothing. And I guess in life, when you kind of leave childhood and you have like the feeling it's going so stressful, and you're always like, okay, next year I'm gonna take it slow, and the next year will be even faster than the year before. I think that's just normal, and as soon as you the quicker you realize it is that way, the better you go with it. And so I'm just saying it's gonna be stressful, because obviously it will be, but it's kind of a good stress, because we need to just do a few things in our new flat before we can go there. And at the moment it seems to be, or it looks like that it will be kind of around April, May, around this kind of month that we are going to make the move finally, and then everything will be in place, and I am finally going to have a better, let's say, area where I can record stuff, which is actually made to kind of a hobby room where my wife can also spend her time doing some music stuff and so on. So it will be a pretty nice room in terms of doing media stuff, I guess. That's the best definition of it, and I can't wait to do so. So it's a pretty great information and pretty big news for us actually, and hopefully for you, because that means also I can stream more often, and all these kind of things are getting a lot better. I can't wait to share things with you. So one final question: would you be interested in kind of not really a vlog, but kind of making like a little bit of a it's like a building diary? I don't even know if that's the right word, but kind of something like, keeping you updated with some images and stuff. Would that be something you would be interested in? So let me know in the comments down below if so. And yeah, so now we need to end this episode, because we are, as you can see, the image is already turning darker. It is already the end of this episode. So I hope we see each other in Sunday's episode again. And yeah, enjoy your weekend, and make sure to drop some comments down below about all these topics we've talked about in this video. Until then, have a great evening, and bye bye!